There has been a major development in the trade rumors between Chase Young and Montez Sweat that we're breaking down today on the Commanders Report. Then also, an ESPN reporter has reported that Ron Rivera could be on thin ice this week versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Will he get fired? I'm going to discuss that as well. And then also, the Commanders have decided whether or not to start Sam Howell in Week 8. Will it be Howell or will it be Jacoby Brissett? Going to be letting you guys know here at the end of today's show, so make sure you guys stick around. But kick things off here by clicking that subscribe button. We did a sub battle with the Giants channel here at Chat Sports last week. We ended up beating them last week, even though we ended up taking the L on the field. At least we got the win off the field. Now Chase Sr., our Eagles host, has challenged us to a sub battle. And just like last week, here is the Eagles host with a message for the Commanders Nation.
So after the Commanders lost to the Giants last week, awful football team by the way, Jonathan Allen said, "I'm sick of this shit. It's been 7 years of it." Well, Jonathan Allen, it's going to be one more week of this because the Philadelphia Eagles are going to go into FedEx Field. The stands are going to be painted in midnight green. Eagles fans are going to bring it. They're on a roll, feeling confident after that impressive win against the Miami Dolphins, and they're once again going to dominate the Commanders. This game's not even going to be close. F Sperry, F the Commanders Report, and F the commies because the birds are coming. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagle!
If that's not going to get you to click that subscribe button, I don't know what will. These Eagles fans, they need to be put in their place, people. So here's the deal that I make with you. Click that subscribe button here. Help us beat the Eagles channel here, Eagles Now, here at Chat Sports. And after a week, if you don't like the stuff that we have here on the Commanders Report, just unsubscribe. Here's the thing, though. I don't think you're going to want to. We have some excellent content here on the Commanders Report, breaking down everything that you guys need to know as a Commanders fan. So do me a favor. Help us win our sub battle this week and click that subscribe button right now. So we've gotten some really big Commanders trade news here where ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports that Washington is unlikely to trade Chase Young or Montez Sweat before the NFL trade deadline on October 31st, a week from today. Now, this is a huge piece of news because all that we've been hearing from Diana Rossini, from all these different places, was that the Commanders were shopping Chase Young and Montez Sweat, and they were taking calls to potentially trade one of these guys elsewhere. But I really hope this Jeremy Fowler report is the one that ends up being correct here because I think this is the correct strategy. I really do think that Chase Young and Montez Sweat need to be core pillars of this Commanders defense, not just now, but moving into the future. Fowler's report says that the Commanders want these two men to be a big part of this defense for years to come. And when you look at the production here, you can absolutely see why. Right now, Montez Sweat, in my opinion, is one of the best run-defending edge rushers in the league right now. He's a physical freak. His relative athletic score at the Combine, again, he was drafted the same year as Chase Young. It was higher than Young's, and he went number 2 overall. We all know how crazy of an athlete Chase Young is, but Montez Sweat is right there with him. But whereas Montez Sweat is more of the run stuffer, I think Chase Young is more of the pass rusher. You look at those pressure numbers right there for Chase Young, 35 pressures, that's top 5 in the National Football League. And then both of these guys are getting it done in terms of sack production. 7 for Sweat, 6 for Chase Young. And overall, the Pro Football Focus grades are really, really nice as well. And you look at the production from these two men right now, these guys are just too good to let go unless the price is absolutely crazy, right? If you get an offer for like a first-round pick and like a third-round pick, yeah, that might be an offer that you just can't refuse at this point, but it seems like the Commanders, they're maybe taking calls on them, seeing what teams are offering for them, but they're not just going to get rid of one of these guys because the contract situation maybe isn't ideal. I think right now the most likely scenario is that no trade gets done. Both of these guys are on the team until season's end, and then one of these guys is going to get a long-term extension while the other one gets franchise tagged, and then they're both on the team in 2024. That's probably the most likely scenario for me, and if I'm going to be trading either one of them, Montez or Chase Young, personally, if I had to pick between the two, I'm probably picking Montez Sweat to send elsewhere because I like the pass rushing upside that Chase Young brings to the table, but the price needs to be extremely high for me to get rid of either one of these guys. These guys are top-end starters in this league at a premium position. So unless we're getting like at least a first-round pick for one of these edge rushers, I'm not taking the deal, plain and simply. And I might even ask a little bit more than just a first rounder if I'm the Commanders GM. Now, predict it for me down there in the comments section. Will the Commanders make a trade before the NFL trade deadline next week, Tuesday? Let me know down there in the comments section by giving me a yes or no, and this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or by giving me a no down there in the comments. Now let's shift to Ron Rivera, where Matt Lombardo reports that, quote-unquote, multiple NFL sources think Ron Rivera will be fired mid-season. Not at the end of the season, in the middle of the 2023 campaign. And this is kind of fueled by a tweet that a minority owner, Earvin Magic Johnson, former NBA star with the Los Angeles Lakers, and like I said, part owner of the Commanders, tweeted this out after that loss to the Giants last week. Disappointing 14-7 loss for my Commanders to the New York Giants. It's hard to win in the National Football League when you only score 7 points. And every time the Commanders have lost, it seems like Magic is tweeting something out, giving away that he might not be the biggest fan of Ron Rivera as the head coach. Now, obviously, Magic doesn't have the ability to hire and fire. He's a minority owner. Josh Harris, as the majority owner, is going to be somebody that's more involved in that process. But, it definitely wouldn't shock me whatsoever if Ron Rivera ends up getting fired mid-season here, and there's a couple of reasons for that. We start with the all-time career record as the Commanders head coach here, 25-31-1. Not necessarily great, very mediocre record there as the head coach of this football team. And let's just face it, he hasn't been able to figure out this offense, especially along the offensive line, for the last 4 years. He has willingly gone into this season. I was telling you guys all offseason long, this is probably going to be the worst offensive line in football. And the fact that this guy couldn't see that coming, it really does make me question how much he really, really knows and can really build a team moving forward. And then also, the Commanders have somebody in-house right now in Eric Bieniemy, who is a really hot commodity in terms of head coaching hires. You might want to see what you have in EB as a potential future head coach. If Ron Rivera isn't your guy, your opportunity to do that would be this season. And the earlier you could get EB in that seat, the more time you get to see if he's your guy for the future of this franchise. So these owners, in my opinion, Josh Harris, Magic Johnson, all the other people in this ownership group, they don't owe anything to Ron Rivera, right? Plain simply, they came in. He wasn't their hire. He's not their guy. And Ron Rivera, here's the simple, the short end of the stick here. He needs to make the playoffs here in 2023, or he is gone, plain and simply. And I think if he continues to lose games here, especially over the next couple of weeks, I think there's a significant chance that he could get fired. Speaking of that, next up on the show, I'm going to tell you whether or not I would fire Ron Rivera if they lose to the Eagles this weekend. But before I give you my answer to that question, let's have a word from our sponsor at BetUS. And they're offering you guys a fantastic deal, a 125% deposit bonus when you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125. Now, you might be asking yourselves, what's a deposit bonus? What that means is you put in a deposit of $100 to $600 on the BetUS website, and they're going to give you 125% of that total dollar amount back to you to use on your bets. So, for example, if you put in $100, they're going to give you $125 additional dollars to use on your bets. That's a $225 value for just a $100 investment. So if you love sports betting, you want a place where you're going to get a great deal on a deposit bonus today, go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code CHAT125 to take advantage of this awesome deposit bonus opportunity right now. Personally, I'm giving Ron Rivera another 2 weeks. Now, I know there's a lot of Commanders fans out there that are already at their wits' end with Coach Rivera, and I completely understand that. It's been 4 years of mediocrity under Ron Rivera at this point, and now that we're sitting at 3-4, I can definitely understand why some people are frustrated with the way Ron Rivera not only has coached this team, but has built this team as he's had a very significant role in personnel decisions. Now, the next two opponents here, the reason why I'm giving him 2 more weeks instead of 1 more week is that the Philadelphia Eagles are arguably the best team in football right now. They just added Kevin Byard, one of the best free safeties in the league, making their defense even scarier. Their offense, of course, is extremely explosive, completely just ran it right down the Commanders' throats last time. Hopefully it'll be a different story this week with Emmanuel Forbes out of the lineup. But if the Commanders lose this game, I'm not going to necessarily hold it against Ron Rivera. However, if you lose against the New England Patriots, a team that is really struggling, I just can't give up. I just can't give him any more chances. Just plain and simply, Ron Rivera needs to be fired. Give EB the rest of the season, Eric Bieniemy, the chance to be a head coach in this league and really prove that he has the chops to make it as the head man of an NFL franchise moving forward. And who knows, he could be Josh Harris's guy. He could be Magic Johnson's guy moving forward here in the nation's capital, and he could really prove that he has what it takes to be a head coach in the National Football League. So yeah, next 2 games, if you lose both of them, I say cut Rivera loose. So what say you? Let me know down there in the comments section. Will Ron Rivera be fired before the end of this season? Type F if you think he's going to get fired. But if you don't think so, and you think he's going to stay on here to the end of the 2023 campaign, type K for keep down there in the comments section. So now the Commanders have announced their starting quarterback for Week 8. Ron Rivera announced it at his weekly press conference. And yes, it's going to be Sam Howell. And yes, this is absolutely the correct decision by the head coach of the Washington Commanders to start Sam Howell. He's looked pretty darn good to start this season, in my opinion. The struggles on offense and the sack numbers, they're partially on him, but usually it's on the offensive line. The average time to sack. So that's the amount of time from the ball being snapped to Sam Howell hitting the turf for a sack this season is 2.3 seconds. That's not enough time for Sam Howell to work, plain and simply. So has Sam Howell held onto the ball for a couple more seconds than he should have a couple times this season? Absolutely. But I like what I'm seeing from Sam right now. 65% completion percentage, 250 yards per game, 9 touchdowns to 7 interceptions right now. These are numbers that I can work with, especially given the fact that he's under pressure all the time. Jahan Dotson is having a major drop issue this year. I think this kid has what it takes to be a starting caliber quarterback in the National Football League, and I don't think Jacoby Brissett, who's less mobile than Sam Howell, has what it takes to get better numbers than this. I think Sam Howell is the best option for the Commanders moving forward, and he should 100% be the starter. Completely agree with this decision to stand pat by Ron Rivera. So go ahead, do me a favor right now. If you believe in Sam Howell as the future franchise quarterback of this franchise here, go ahead, click that thumbs up icon and let me know. I want to see at least 500 likes on today's video so that we can show our support for number 14 here in Washington. And that'll be it for today's content, guys. Really do appreciate all of your support. If you want to go see where Chat Sports and our hosts rank the Commanders among all 32 NFL teams, we actually have a power rankings video that just came out this morning. So if you want to see where the Commanders stack up this week, go ahead. I'm going to put the link to that video in the comments and description. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel here. Really do appreciate all of your support, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow with another Washington Commanders news and rumors roundup. And until then, hail to the Commanders.